Thank you very much, Presiding Officer. Can I say, Minister, I very much welcome the overall vision which you've outlined to us this afternoon. I think it's fair to say that one thing that unites people on all sides of this chamber is an absolute determination that the people of Wales deserve far better than we've received in terms of funding and powers over railways over the last few years. I very much welcome what you said, and I welcome your confidence that the Keith Williams review will report positively later this year. I would be grateful if you could give us any further update on progress and a timetable for the publication of his review and then any subsequent devolution of responsibilities. I don't think I'm alone here when I feel an utter frustration when I see the way in which the Department of Transport of the UK government throws money into some communities while starves other communities of any investment at all. And certainly Wales has been in that position year after year, no matter what the colour of the government happens to have been. And I think the Ebble Valley line, which you've already heard people speaking about this afternoon, is an example of a failure of this settlement. Now, you've answered a question earlier this afternoon, Minister, about the devolution responsibility for the valley lines. But, of course, the Ebble Valley line is not regarded as a core valley line, even though it serves a population which is largely the same as the lines served to Merthyr or to Rhymney, to Aberdare or to Treherbert. And that demonstrates the complexity and fragmentation that you spoke of in your statement in February affects people's daily lives today. This isn't an academic conversation about constitutional theory, but is about how we're able to invest in the infrastructure that sustains our economy today. For us in Ebble Vale and for us in Blaenau Gwent, the priorities are clear for the Ebble Valley line. We want to see the new rolling stock that we've been promised. We need 4 trains an hour. Now, I understand, Minister, and we've had conversations about this in the past, that work is ongoing amongst your officials. And I hope that you will be able to report to us when you would expect to see 2 trains going down the line in the first instance and then 4 trains an hour. Eventually, we've been told that I think it's 2024 we can expect that. Clearly, that's something I would want to bring forward if it's at all possible. And the final point is that about Abertillery. A station in Abertillery would have an enormous impact on the vitality of that town and the ability of people living in the whole of the Ebble Valley to access the rail network and the new metro system. That is something which is important. But you've spoken earlier about the models currently used by the Department of Transport in England to determine where new stations are placed and where new services are offered. But of course, that model will never deliver either a station in Abertillery or anywhere else in the heads of the valleys or the valleys network, because it doesn't fulfil the criteria which are set down by the UK government. We therefore need a model which will deliver for people in Wales and will deliver for people in the valleys of South Wales, particularly in this instance, both in terms of delivering new stations, but also in terms of other infrastructure upgrades and new services. The final question I'd like to ask you in terms of the specific issues in South East Wales is that about electrification and propulsion. Now, I'm not one of those people who are at all hung up about having electric trains wherever we're needed. However, we do know that they provide a far better journey experience. So we do know that they provide a far greater impact in terms of climate change and decarbonisation. So I want to be able to see how you'll be able to deliver electrification on the Ebble Valley line to ensure that we're able to be plugged into the metro system and not adjacent to it. Presiding Officer, the statement this afternoon has provided members with an opportunity to debate how we want to take this forward. I hope that we can debate these matters on a more regular occasion. But I also hope that through the devolution of responsibility and budgets to the Welsh Government, we can ensure that we have here the ability to invest in rail, but also to invest in a multimodal and integrated transport system which delivers either by rail or by bus or by tram for people up and down the country, and we can start to make the vision that the Minister has outlined today a reality.